Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today and welcome to the Embodied Blonde podcast. I'm your host, Sarah Jo, and I am here today with Callie Vetter, who is a mindset and embodiment coach. She helps women reconnect with their body and soul, embrace their authentic truth, and thrive. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm so excited too. Um, First of all, I would just love for you to tell us a little bit about your story and kind of how you got into the work that you do today.
Yes, it has been such a fun journey. I started my coaching business a year ago, and I was doing gut health and nutrition coaching. And my background is in nutrition, and I've been a dietitian for 5 years now. And I went into that with wanting to help people heal their bodies through a holistic approach with nutrition. And when I got into the field, it was very clinical and less holistic than I thought. So I was like, okay, this I can't do for very long. I'll have to start my own business. And so I started my own business a couple times, and you know how that goes. It's really hard. So I didn't stick until last year when I hired a coach and really took it seriously. And I started coaching women with gut issues, doing one-on-one coaching. And I was taking a very root cause approach because when I had gut issues, and this was 3 years ago, um, they were really bad, and I had no idea what was going on. I was really embarrassed because I was like, I'm a dietitian. I shouldn't be experiencing like gut issues like this. I eat really well and I pay attention and I try not to eat inflammatory foods and I'm really cognizant. So what's going on here? And it took me months to realize it had nothing to do with nutrition and it had everything to do with me living in a very stressful environment and doing a job that was soul sucking, really, at the core. And it made me super stressed and anxious. And my body was like, stop it, why are you doing this? And that manifested as gut issues. So I knew when I was starting my business that I really wanted to take that root cause approach with women because it was the reason for me why I had gut issues. And it was so much deeper than just the nutrition aspect. So I loved it. I had one-on-one clients. They were seeing great results. And then I noticed a theme really only like after 6 months. The clients I had that saw the greatest transformations, they did everything, including the mindset pieces that, were like meditating and journaling and gratitude practice and all these things. They saw huge transformations. It was like amazing. They had the nutrition down and also the stress management and really paying attention to calming their bodies basically and getting out of their heads. And then I noticed when I had clients that were really resistant to doing the mindset and mindfulness parts, they would plateau in their healing. And it would almost be like they weren't seeing any changes anymore, or maybe they saw some in the beginning when they first eliminated maybe some like really inflammatory foods, but then it would just be like, no, that wasn't it.
Yeah.
And it was really tough for me because I was like, okay, I love you so much,
Mhm.
but what's the one thing you're not doing right now? And for a few of my clients, they weren't taking the responsibility to actually pour energy back into themselves. It was like that piece was really challenging. And that's the key. It was the key
Yeah.
is taking the energy back, realigning back to who they are and what their truth is. Because most of the time they're overcommitting in situations. They are people pleasing. They are meeting everyone else's needs before their own, pouring all their energy into other people and situations outside of themselves, not keeping that energy for themselves to heal. And when I had this like big breakthrough, I was like, I can't even do just this like nutrition, gut health coaching approach anymore. I just feel like I need to go deep into the soul and just do like soul inner work coaching because it felt like so many women overall, not even always gut issues, but so many women were just really living so out of alignment with their truth.
Yeah.
And it would cause anxiety. And I do believe like this is why so many women suffer with anxiety in this country, depression. So not just like the gut health, but hormone health too. Like hormone imbalance is huge.
Yeah.
Weight gain and inability to lose weight, all related to not living in deep alignment with your truth and your heart. So here we are.
Amazing. Yes, I resonate with what you're saying so much. I feel like it's very rare that people actually do take a root cause approach. So much of Western medicine is just about managing symptoms and like, here, take this drug. And then it comes with all these side effects, but you won't have this problem anymore. And then, but you have a whole list of new problems. And I also believe that when we are deeply tuned in to our bodies and actually in our body, we can get a lot of the answers there. Like we don't need an outside source as much to tell us what to eat or when to rest but the thing is the outside source can be helpful because we're not in our bodies, but if we were just drop in, then we have so many answers already.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's so key. And that is like one of the first things that I talk about with clients is like, we gotta tune in to your body. You gotta start just listening for those answers.
Yep, 100%.
To
Oh my
wisdom.
gosh. I love that so much. So you talk about being stuck spiritually and emotionally and knowing that you wanted more, but not knowing how to get there. Um, how did you navigate that time in your life? And I think so many women can relate to that. And it seems like that's a lot of the work that you do. How do you help other women in that same situation?
Mm-hmm. So the first thing for me is I knew that I didn't have all the tools just on my own. And so I knew I wanted to work with a coach. And so I started therapy with a counselor, and I also had a coach as well who worked with mostly like energetics and the kind of more inner stuff. And those were like the two things that I knew are going to like help me really to realign on the inside first. And so that was key in expanding my toolbox. So now I can be just a more expanded, better human and respond better in life and in situations. And while I was doing that, I also started to just change my habits completely. So, meditating in the morning, coming up with like a very mindful morning routine was really big. And honestly, one of the biggest things that really helped me go from feeling stuck to living on basically a new timeline for myself was listening to specific meditations that were like for affirmations for stepping into a new timeline. And I was listening to those daily. So sometimes the same one for like weeks, that was just like really attuning my body and my subconscious, getting in there like, I'm not playing small, I'm on this new timeline. I let go of old patterns, old belief systems that are not serving me, and being very consistent with that was definitely huge. It was a really, really big part. And it, it changed definitely like my subconscious thoughts and how I respond in situations, and expanded my awareness greatly, so that when those negative thought patterns would come up, because they always do, our egos and our minds want to keep us in cycles of negative thinking. I could so easily catch myself and be like, wait a second, is this my truth? Is this my reality? Is this a protection mechanism? Ask questions and diffuse the negative storytelling.
Yeah.
So yeah, honestly, I'm so big on affirmations, and the thing is, they're not going to work if you don't believe it too.
Mhm.
So the consistency is key, and you really do need to work on that inner work and how you see yourself. So journaling was a part of this too, and even mirror work,
Mhm.
like looking in the mirror, looking at myself, saying, I love you. You are beautiful. What you're doing is amazing. And that really helps to like build back the relationship with yourself, and just access that self-love that we all have. Just might be like really in, and get back to that.
Yeah.
And that's gonna, yeah, that really is for the emotional and the spiritual. It's really been a journey. I'm still, of course, on it.
Yeah. Wow. I love that so much. Yeah. It's like kind of getting back to the basics of spirituality. And I've had huge shifts kind of doing similar things of like, I'm really serious about whatever it is, whatever specific thing. And I'm just going to listen to Abraham Hicks every single morning, like on that topic. And it, kind of magic happens from that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love that you just said that, because I have been listening to Abraham Hicks for like the past 3 days a lot. And I'm just like, it's so magical.
It's so magical. And I feel like, I don't know what it is, but for me, especially with the consistency, I think it really does reprogram your subconscious mind.
Yes, I agree so much. And actually, something I've been realizing, I've been like on an insane podcast binge for the last week. I was house sitting, and while I was doing that, I was by myself, and I'm like, oh, I'll just, listen to some podcasts. And I I just started realizing, like, the deeper I dive into my spirituality, the more simple it gets. Like the easier it gets, the more clear, and it just feels easy. It's like the key here is just truly love. It's just like we just really need to access more of that love and joy,
Yeah.
just enjoying life, and not making up stories about everything
That's so
has
beautiful.
been another thing.
I love that so much. Yeah. So I absolutely, like, I was going through your content and every single post I was reading, I was like, yes, 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 this girl is just like really dropping some truth here. But you have about getting off of birth control and reconnecting to our bodies. And I think this is so important for women to really understand all the ways that birth control disconnects us from our bodies and our cycles. And I just love for you to talk a little bit more about this.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I I talk about some triggering things on my Instagram, so I'm so glad to hear that you resonate with all of it. That's so good to feel like seen in that. And first, want to start off saying I am definitely not a hormone expert, and I am not a birth control expert at all. Um, but I have seen what it does, and I know enough to know that it does take us away from our natural cycles. That's kind of like, in essence, the biggest part of it. And I personally have actually never been on hormonal birth control, but I have taken Plan B before, and it was horrible experiences every time, because that is a massive dose of birth control is what Plan B is. And I had no idea, like, taking it then, what it even was,
Yeah.
because that's the issue, is that's over the counter.
Yeah.
You can just buy it, which is crazy. And it's just like, oh yeah, I should, okay, let me do this. No idea what it is, no idea what it's going to do. And I was like, I'm never taking this again. I can't believe how like bad I feel.
Yeah.
Just, it was not good. And so through my learning, and also just having a lot of friends who are women who are on birth control, like most of us do,
Yeah.
and seeing what it has done to them has made me pretty fiercely adverse to it.
Yeah.
What birth control does is it's hormones. So it's giving us more hormones of, I think, progesterone to trick our bodies into thinking that we already are pregnant. And so then if we're already pregnant, we can't get pregnant. That's why it's hormonal, and it's altering our normal, usual 28-day cycle of our hormones are doing different waves of things, estrogen and progesterone, and they have a natural cycle. And that's how we have our luteal and our follicular phases that obviously we experience every month, when we have these highs of our energy, our dips in energy. This is all natural and supposed to happen for women.
Yeah.
So the birth control gives us different hormones, altering that 28-day cycle, and takes away that intuition, that connection that we have with our bodies. It's like our guide, really.
Yeah.
Because when you're not feeling this, when you're disconnected like that, taking away your normal, true connection with yourself, you're not making decisions that are aligned, not a lot of times, and I've heard recently, it can actually be detrimental for women choosing a partner when they're on birth control, because it alters their sense of smell so much, their whole entire body's normal, I can't think of the right word, but you're just like the normal essence of your body.
Yeah.
It changes that. So it's like, I actually was listening to a podcast with Sahara Rose, her High Self podcast, talking about this. And she was saying there's a study done that women on birth control, when they would meet their partner, they were already on birth control. They would pick this partner. And when they got off the birth control, it was time to they wanted to have a family, they were like so adverse to this person because of the smell. There was like a very familiar smell with their partner, that it was like the partner smelled like family to them. And then the women were like, no, this isn't, I'm so unattracted to you. And I guess they were calling it the divorce pill in yeah, in that study specifically, because they were seeing all these divorce rates from women that were on it in the beginning and then came off during the relationship. So, I mean, if that's just not reason enough, but they, they call, or we call our cycles our moon cycles, and that's our intuition, our inner guidance. And the more that we're on things that alter that, the more disconnected we become with our bodies. And not to mention all the risks too. A lot of my friends have had ovarian cysts and needed to get surgery, and all of a sudden have PCOS and all these things that were never even a thing before. And also the emotional, that how it just throws off emotionally. And my friend was telling me she's had a recent experience. She was so depressed. She was not herself getting really angry at her son. And she's like, I don't even feel like this is me.
Yeah.
Like, just, she's like, I know this isn't even me, but can't control it.
Mhm.
And that to me was like one of the scariest things, is if it's like, if you're taking this hormone pill that's changing the whole essence of who you are and making you be this person you don't even feel like, how much further away can you get from your body and yourself?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I talked about in that live that you're referring to how they just passed a bill to make it over the counter, to make hormonal birth control over the counter,
Mhm.
which is very scary. And I think we need to spread the word,
Yeah.
to educate.
Mhm.
That's really the key, because now we're going to have, 15, 16, 17-year-olds just coming to buy birth control, having no idea what it's really doing to their bodies, and having no idea what the risk is there. So the more we talk about it, I think the better.
I couldn't agree more. And I am also not an expert at this, but I've done a lot of research for my own personal benefit. And there are so many ways that are very easy and free to not get pregnant. Like a lot of people don't know that there's like 6 days, like the 3 days prior and the 3 days following ovulation, that you can get pregnant. And your body gives you very clear signs of what phase you're in once you're in tune with that. And there's also really helpful tools like Natural Cycles, the app, and you can even, like, I just ordered an Aura ring. So like you don't even have to take your temperature every morning, because the ring takes your temperature and it
Oh,
attaches to the
wow.
app. So, and obviously everyone needs to do their own research and educate themselves. And there is a little bit of a dicey, and I don't know this personally because I've tried birth control like once for a month, and I hated it. I just knew it was wrong for me. So I don't have like this huge story of being on it and then getting off of it. But I know there is a period that you'll go through where you don't have a consistent regular cycle while your body kind of recalibrates. So like obviously we're not giving medical advice here, but
Right.
do your own research. And there are so many ways that you can prevent pregnancy in a way that's honoring to your body instead of extremely harmful.
Yes, absolutely. I'm so happy that you said that, because it's so true. And that's the other thing, is like so many women, especially if they get on birth control at a young age, have no idea that there's only 6 days of the month that they really can get pregnant.
Yeah.
I think that would change things a lot for
It's
people.
crazy that that's not common knowledge. There's so much that women need to be taught when it comes to this kind of stuff. And it should, I mean, ideally, this would be wisdom that was passed down from like your grandmother to your mother to you, but our world doesn't work like that yet. But I think that there is a big shift happening right now.
Mm. Yes, I feel the shift big time. I really think people are starting to wake up to it and realize, like, whoa, like I don't need to feel this bad and this off,
Yeah.
and I can actually just get back to myself, and life becomes a little bit easier, and I'm more connected, and
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
picking a better partner.
making a better partner. Yes.
Yeah. That's
Right.
kind of important.
That is, yeah, it's maybe one of the more important things in life. That, and also just aligning with the right jobs and the right friends for you too. It's all so connected.
Yeah.
Um, I talk about, once you're aligning with your truth, you are going to call in all the things that you've been wanting, and the things you didn't even know you wanted, right? Because it's just like all the things that are meant for you are there. We just need to align back with our truth and ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's really all the things that just kind of spreads out too.
Yes, exactly. I love that so much. Um, you said in one of your reels, there's nothing more freeing and perfect in this life than living out your true essence rather than being accepted as someone you're not. I love that so much. And I would like to hear your thoughts for women who that resonates with them, but they're afraid of like being judged or of cancel culture. What would you say to them?
hmm Yes, I just did a master class on this, and one of my participants there asked me this similar question. And the truth is, it will stir some people up when you start aligning with your truth. It will tick some people off,
Mhm.
but that is not your responsibility.
Mhm.
And the key here really is when you are living in alignment with your truth, people that are meant for you are going to resonate so deeply and fully with you. They're going to fall in love with you so much more. And so your relationships really are going to get deeper with the right people, more aligned. Some people, yes, will fall off. You'll lose some friends, but then the opportunity comes in for amazing friends that are just resonate with you and that just love you so much for who you are. So surface, it is a scary thing to start with because it's like these people are going to judge me and people are going to have something to say.
Yeah.
And it will happen. A lot of times also though, I know this from, you know, doing this online is a lot of times people won't even say anything. You just probably won't really hear from them anymore.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's hard, but on the other side of that is so much joy and goodness to be had. It's like, wow, I'm accepted for who I really am so strongly with the right people
Yeah.
that are here for me and they're here for it. And that feels amazing. And no matter what, even if you were living out of alignment with your truth, people are not everyone's going to like you.
Yeah.
Like, no, never at any time in our lives will everyone appreciate us for if we're trying to people please or do something that we think we should be doing,
Yeah.
or if we're living with our truths. Like, regardless, people are always going to judge and they're always going to project on you and they're always going to, you know, some people are going to like you and some aren't. So you might as well live your truth so you can feel better inside in your life, and then also find those people who really love you for all of that,
Yeah.
because they are so out there and they're waiting. Like, they are waiting for you.
Yeah. I love that so much. And I think that we do have to come to terms with the fact that if we're speaking, I think it was Marie Forleo I heard say this, if you're speaking to everyone, you're speaking to no one. So if you're trying to make everybody happy, you probably won't make anyone angry, but you're not going to have the right people find you either. And you really do have to be willing to show up in who you are. And this has been something that I've actually been learning firsthand this year because my brand has been growing, my visibility has been growing, and I have been saying some controversial things on the internet. And I have had people like come into my comments or into my inbox and say like kind of hurtful stuff. And I felt misunderstood perhaps, but I think more so they were triggered. And I just have to be okay with that because of all of the people who are meant to be in my world. The content that I'm posting is deeply resonating with them. And before, when I was just posting vanilla, like happy spiritual content, it
Yeah.
wasn't really helping anybody, you know?
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh. I know. I really, really resonate with that. And I've been looking at a lot of this stuff that you're posting, and I'm like, ah, all this is so on point. It's so how I feel. It's so insightful and good. And it's because you're posting very specific things that only certain people are going to, resonate with.
Yeah.
And but for those people, like for me, I'm like, yes, this is my girl. Like, totally feel her. And yeah, it's just more authentic and real connections.
Totally. And it's the same way I felt when I was reading through your content. I was like, yes, I'm going to love this interview.
I'm so glad. Yes, I love that. Oh my gosh, I love what you said. I was just looking at one of your reels about collaborations and doing more collaborations. And it's so nourishing and fulfilling just to have these conversations that are, you know, for some people really taboo. And it's just like, oh my gosh, you can't be saying that, and it's like, actually, we can and we should be, because more people are going to be seeing this and feeling this and hearing this and know that they're not alone.
Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know that you ever change someone's mind, but you do find the people who are ready for more or who have been kind of had an inner knowing about these kind of things all along, but they just needed someone to say it.
Mm, yes. Yes. Oh, that's so good. I definitely think so. And that's who we're here for is, it's like, hey, it's okay to be yourself and have these thoughts that like a lot of people might judge you for, but
Yeah.
they're just loud.
Exactly. It's a lot of noise and you just have to be able to tune it out and stay in your lane and trust that, you know, I trust in my business that I'm being divinely guided and it's not really up to me what the outcome is. It's like, I just show up and I do my work and I say what I feel meant to say or what's on my heart. And then like, I have to just let go of it after that.
Yeah, the practice of letting go has been really big for me. I almost feel like the more that I do this work, sometimes the harder it is to let go.
Yeah.
And the more I'm like in my head about things. So I've really been trying to just, let go. And that sounds so counterintuitive now that I'm saying it out loud. Like I'm really working hard to let go. Just
No,
be.
it's a process and it's something that we get to come back to over and over and over and over again. And I don't think that anyone's ever perfect at it. It's not like being surrendered isn't easy. You you have to have a lot of trust in the masculine or in the divine or in whatever it is that in your calling, whatever it is that you're trusting in, you have to trust. And we've been raised not to trust. We've been taught to be strong, independent, like I can do everything all myself and I don't need anyone, women. And it's completely counter culture to like drop into that trust.
I agree so much with that. And it reminds me of going back to trusting our bodies too, that our bodies really know what's best for us and to let ourselves be led by those feelings that we have. We have all those, feelings of resistance or joy or those gut feelings and that, tightness or whatever it is for a reason to be led on our path. And the more that we're trusting of ourselves and our bodies, the more we're just like staying on this path. And that's when we're safe. And that's when the universe and God and all the things have us.
Absolutely. Yeah. And it just develops this beautiful relationship with yourself where you know that you've got like you have your body, you have your intuition, and you don't look as much outside of yourself for information or validation or even like following a diet plan. It's like you might feel different from day to day. You're going to feel different at different times in your cycle. There's going to be a reason why maybe you're craving something for a reason why you're less hungry and maybe you eat much less that day. Or it's so masculine to be like following a rigid protocol every single day, regardless of what your body's telling you.
It's so true. It really is like, it's such an intuitive process, really. It's just like, yeah, today I'm feeling, pancakes.
Yes, exactly.
It's fine.
It's fine.
Oh, yes. That was honestly, I think that was a big thing too with when I was doing more of the nutrition.
Mhm.
And my clients were tracking, they were doing like a food and symptom journal, which I definitely think is very helpful. But then it would get to the point where it was like too much and it was no longer helpful, and it was actually just causing more stress and anxiety,
Yep.
paying attention and trying so hard to, do the right thing, eat the right things, and then it was like doing the opposite.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That is so true. And I feel like if you've had any kind of past history of like disordered eating, um, I got into like, I really got into Ray Peat for a while. And
Mm.
I don't know if you know him, but he's kind of like a pro metabolic guy. And I was following a lot of pro metabolic accounts. And I hired this coach, and it was very much like tracking your macros, putting everything you eat in this thing. And I did one session with her, paid her for the session, and then I had to like bow out. I was like, I'm so sorry, but it was triggering for me because it was taking
Mm.
me out of my body once again and trying to put it in the hands of somebody else. And I just can't do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh man, I'm so glad that you brought that up, because that is definitely something I I have struggled with in the past too, is like being super obsessive on my fitness pal, tracking every single thing. And that's is such it's outside of yourself. It's taking you away from that connection
Yeah.
to your body. And truly, I think part of the reason why I, have gone so deep into this and is because the key really is just getting back to our bodies. Once we're getting back to our bodies, everything is going to fall into place.
Mhm.
And the eating disorder is probably, or the disordered eating habits or whatever,
Mhm.
are probably going to fall away naturally, because it's like I'm just so aligned with my body. I know what it needs, how much it needs, when it needs food, whatever. And it's like no longer will I overeat because it doesn't make my body feel good. No longer will I undereat because it doesn't give me energy. And it it's a just natural alignment back.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. Yeah. Your post about like I love this post so much. We were talking about like we think we can heal our bodies through green juice, apple cider vinegar, keto, closing our rings. Like you go through all the things. Beachbody protocol. I was like, oh my gosh, I've done all of these. But you were like, you basically said just what we're talking about. Like, no, you have to love yourself. That's what's really going to move things and change things and help you to heal.
Yes, absolutely. It's funny. Well, I say that because I also have done all those things
Yeah.
too. Like, oh, let me just take the shot of apple cider vinegar every day to heal my gut. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, not only does that not taste good, but what
Kind
is
of
it?
burns.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yes, at the core of all of it is coming back to love, that self love for yourself and for your body. Because when you come back into that love, you're going to be so just in love with who you are. It feels wrong to give away all of your energy to somebody else or something else that isn't actually, it's just taking away from your body.
Mhm.
So the more that you love yourself, the more that you tune into your body, the more that you do things that actually nourish your body. And it's a domino effect, really, because it's like, oh, this makes me feel so good. I feel nourished and fulfilled. I want to do more of this. And the more of this might be, doing yoga every day, which helps calm your nervous system, which is going to calm your body and calm the inflammation and heal your body. So, truly, all the things that we're doing, if they're really rooted in self love,
Yeah.
that's how you will heal
Yeah.
all the things.
And I love how you keep talking about like not taking all of our energy and giving it away and instead using it for ourselves. This is huge because we are kind of conditioned to be like these overgiving good girls. And especially for women, like motherhood, it's a lot of giving, or even just like in our career with our partner. It's very easy to be focused on the other and just completely ignore ourselves. And what I've learned personally is that when I actually bring all of my attention back in and put it in my body, there's an overflow. And then I still am able to give, but it's not giving from a finite resource. It's like giving from the overflow of my own energy.
Yes, that's so beautifully put. I'm so big on the energy. I've been talking about it a lot lately, because I do think that's another really key aspect to all of this. Absolutely. It's like I, when I was doing things that were not aligned for me, I would get so drained so quickly and then wasn't showing up as my best self in this world, as my best human for everyone around me. And it wasn't good. I wasn't able to serve well from that space. And then as soon as I took the energy back and aligned with myself, now I'm actually having a bigger impact, impacting more people. And I feel so full from all of it.
Yeah,
And
beautiful.
it's why it's such a selfless thing, really, to do is to make sure that you're filled of this energy.
Yeah.
It's because really now I'm going to be my best human, and that affects everyone around me. It's like when you're doing everything for everyone else, no one's really benefiting from that in the end.
They're not benefiting. They might momentarily benefit, but long term, no one's benefiting. So true. Oh man. This is such a great conversation. You had this post, I was like laughing so hard. It said, I mean, it's not a funny post, but like it was kind of funny to me. Because I feel like this happens a lot in the personal development world. And you were like, you said the answer is not to throw the whole man away, drop all your friends, quit your job, escape to Mexico. the, answers, the answers are within you. And life transformation happens when you connect with the wisdom of your body and let it guide you back to yourself, which is kind of what we've been talking about. But I just love that you phrased it like that, because I feel like you do hear these stories of like, I turned my whole life upside down. I broke up with my partner. It doesn't always have to be that way. A lot of the times it's kind of this thing of like, wherever you go, there you are. So you can heal yourself, and then your life and the people around you, it's not so much of like, oh, like I grew and now we're not an energetic match anymore, so I have to break up with my partner. Sometimes that does happen, but a lot of times by doing the inner work for ourselves, our relationships and everything around us just improves.
Yes, absolutely. I've definitely noticed that big time in my life. And it's something that I think is definitely, like you said, really big in the self-development world, is we're all just like, leave it all behind, shed the old, make room for the new. And
Mhm.
while that is so true and so important, we can do that on the inner level,
Yeah.
shed the old identity of ourselves and step into this new identity of this person that we actually truly are, and this person that calls in all these amazing things and sees things from a completely different perspective.
Mhm.
And just that perspective shift, I think, is where a lot of the breakthroughs are going to happen. Like you said, doing the inner work, it's like that's going to overflow, and your partner is going to see that and say, whoa, this is cool. Like you're
Yeah.
not emotionally reacting like you used to be. Maybe I should try to do that too a little bit. And it does overflow. I've definitely seen that with my relationship, and definitely with my friendships, and my family too, even. It's
Yeah.
been really cool. It's just little things here and there. We don't need to like preach to anybody. We don't need to, try to leave everybody behind and cocoon. Like we can just be,
Mhm.
and that is going to overflow, and people are gonna see it and hopefully be inspired.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And sometimes it's just about the way we really like, maybe we do have a challenging person in our life, but then we learn boundaries, which is important, but also we learn how we relate to them. And like we can shift our mindset and make it a more pleasant relationship. And there is an aspect of falling away, I think, that comes with growth, especially at the beginning. But I think that when we get beyond that phase and we're well on our way, the real spiritual work is just being able to be with the people in your life, no matter who they are or how they show up.
Mm. Yeah, that's so good. It's so, so good. Oh my gosh, it's so true. Just had a conversation with my sister-in-law today about family, and people are triggered and people are upset, and all the things. And really at the core of it, all we can do is just try to love that person
Yeah.
and not change them or not change their thinking or their projection or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's so much easier said than done, for sure.
Mhm.
But at the root is we just cannot control anybody except for ourselves.
Yeah.
So what you're doing, trying to control or change somebody's mind, is not productive, and it's not going to get you anywhere. It's just going to lead to more, upset and just distrust and anger and sadness. So
Yep.
yeah, I really feel that big time with this in my life right now. It's very alive for me.
Yes. Yes. Who was it? I forget. I think it was maybe like Rumi or somebody said, like, if you think you're enlightened, go spend a week with your family.
Seriously. I love them so much, but yes, like the most triggering people are your family
Yep.
every time. It's so true. It really is. I don't live really near most of my family anymore. And so every time I go home and go visit, it's like a new test for me. It's like, okay, now I need to apply all these things that I've learned in real life, in real time, and really try to embody and be this person that I feel like I am when I'm not in triggering environments.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's a great place to practice for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely is.
So I'll ask you one last question, and then I'd love to ask how we can find you and work with you. But you had a post that said, once we can accept that we are both the problem and the solution for the results we created in our life, we take our power back. I absolutely love this. And I've definitely been in this place of just accepting radical responsibility. For me, a really big shift came when I realized that all of the romantic relationships that I was attracting were kind of the same. They all ended the same way. And it was because I was like very attracted to unavailable people because I had my own blocks to love to heal. But I realized that, like, wait a second, I'm the common denominator here. So it's time to do some inner work. But where do we go from there when we do have that realization? Like, what's your process been around that?
Oh man, it's such a journey to do this because it's hard. It's really hard when you first have that acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
I am fully and totally responsible for everything in my life. Whoa, it's like, okay, deep breath here. That's big. But it's super empowering because it means that you can change everything in your life.
Yeah.
So I I've heard, I forget where I heard this, but somebody said it's everything that happens to us is not necessarily our fault, but
Mm-hmm.
it is our responsibility. And so when we apply this to thinking about like trauma or things that have happened to us in our lives that, of course, were not our fault at all, but now this is causing you to have um, maybe a relationship that's just, you trigger each other and just it isn't going very well because there are shadows from your past that you need to work through. And that is your responsibility so that you can be a person in this relationship.
Yeah.
And so for me, I've definitely, in my business, I think this is probably the biggest area, of course, that I'm really noticing all the time. It's like, okay, I don't have all these people signing up for my program.
Mm-hmm.
It must be because the algorithm, right? It's like, let
Mm-hmm.
me blame the algorithm for
Mm-hmm.
not showing my post to anybody and no one new is seeing my stuff. It's definitely that. And then it's like, wait a second. Let me bring that power back to myself instead of releasing it to something that I can't control, which is the algorithm. Let me bring it back and see where I have not been actually acting in accordance with what my goals are. And it's like, oh, truly, I haven't been promoting my program. So people really don't even know about my program. So, of course, they're not going to buy if they don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
So, looking at to see where I am not doing something for the outcome that I want
Mm-hmm.
has definitely been very key and very helpful and allows me to make changes and to do some things that maybe I wouldn't have done
Yeah.
before. It's like, because if I'm giving that power away, thinking that, oh, yeah, it's something else's fault or someone else's fault,
Yeah.
then it almost gives me permission to not do anything about it.
Yeah.
But it's like, actually, this is not, this is my thing. I need to do something about this. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, what can I do next? And then I have that power to go and make some aligned actions
Yeah.
for the thing that I'm desiring to change or shift or
Mm-hmm.
whatever it might be. Um, it's yeah, it's such a like an exciting, I think, and a really juicy place to be in because then it really does empower you to be like, yeah, everything is my fault,
Yeah.
you know, kind of in essence. It's like, okay,
Yeah.
that's kind of weird, but also cool. Now I can go set some boundaries, I can go make some changes
Yeah.
and start doing things differently because I want them to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It gives us so much power and agency in our life when we do take responsibility for the outcomes and not necessarily. So, like, the way that I see masculine and feminine energy in business is that, like, the masculine is very outcome oriented and the feminine is process oriented. But that's actually beautiful because when we commit to our processes, that is committing to ourselves and it is committing to taking action. And it's very freeing to, like for me, I agreed to do a 365 days of Reels challenge. And I have other certain things that I do in my business, like posting on Facebook or sending an email, or like I have processes that I'm committed to. And then I know I showed up for my process and I can let go of the outcome and trust.
Yeah. That's so key is letting go of the outcome.
But not letting go of the outcome, like, I'm just going to sit here and binge Netflix and snack because the universe will bring it to, like, no, you do have to be committed to the process. Like you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
like, we have to show up and then let
Mm,
go of the result.
yes, absolutely. I would say this is a big thing that I've definitely noticed a lot recently is I was a lot of the energetic work, a lot of the inner work, and really aligning with um, abundance and positivity and just everything on the inside of what I wanted. And then we're still not here yet. So clearly, there's some aligned actions that I need to be taking,
Yeah.
some other things in the process that I need to be doing. And yeah, it's it really is it opens up your world so much because it allows you to say, oh, there's actually more I could be doing in this area and different steps I could be taking for this. And it's very, very powerful. I'm so glad that you said that because I've been changing and refining my processes for sure lately, and yeah, doing all the things, but trying to let go of then how you think, the outcome should happen, or
Or
that's the tricky
when.
part.
A big
Or
part
what?
is like, when should it happen?
Mm,
Now. Like, I want it to happen today. But it's like, no,
yes.
you're planting seeds for the future. Or maybe somebody finds your content today and loves it, but they're not going to sign up as your client for another year. Or, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just letting
Yes.
go of like the when things are supposed to happen and even the how, but like knowing why, knowing who, and knowing that you're going to show up and do your processes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's so good. That's been a really big learning part of my journey for sure, is the parts that I am responsible for and the part that the universe is responsible for. And my responsibility is the process, the actions for content, for getting the word out, for letting myself be known, talking to the people, but then actually people who are supposed to see it, that isn't my responsibility. I don't have control over that.
Yeah, I love that so much. So,
Mm.
could you tell us how we can find you and work with you? Do you have any programs going on right now or master classes? Tell me all the things.
Okay. I have so many things going on. So this weekend, I am doing a full moon flow. I do them every full moon, and it's a time to talk about what this full moon specifically is calling in our lives, something we might need to let go of, or might need to embark on. So on Sunday, at 5 p.m. Mountain Standard, so it'd be 4 p.m. PST. I'll be doing that over Zoom, and I do talk about the full moon. We're having a full moon in Sagittarius and what that kind of means. And then for the second half, I lead everyone through an embodiment flow to really let go of anything that's not serving and invite in peace, love, abundance, anything that we're calling in. And it's such a beautiful time. I do that over Zoom. I love that. So that's every full moon. And full moon happens to be on this weekend. So that's happening. And then I have a one-on-one program and a group program. My group program is called Embodied Goddess, and that is a 4-week sisterhood. And it's all about falling in love with yourself to thrive in life, health, and love. And it's so beautiful. First round of it a couple months ago, and had such an amazing transformation with my client friend. She's just like a completely different person in 4 weeks. And I was like, whoa, this is so cool. So this is something that I am going to run again. It's not open yet, but you can hop on the wait list for that. And then the wait list will get some extra bonuses and discounts. So if you're interested, definitely want to get on the wait list for that. And I also have a one-on-one container. 3 or 6. It's called Turned On, all about turning you back.
Callie, you're kind of breaking up.
And this is just you getting back to you. Uh-oh, there's some storm rolling in. So
Yeah,
it's possible
your internet connection
that,
is unstable.
uh-oh, yeah, it's probably the storm that's rolling in, probably jumbled some wires. Can
I
you
just
hear me now?
lost you. I can hear you now. I just lost you when you started talking about the one-on-one. The rest of it we got. Oh no, you're frozen again.
I can see you and hear you.
Okay, you're good now.
Maybe it's just I'm frozen, but
Yeah.
okay. Okay, well, I'll try to be quick. But my one-on-one container is called Turned.
It's not working, Callie.
And
I'm gonna put your Instagram in the show notes. So you guys, if you want to learn more about Callie's,
that
yeah, it's totally breaking up. Um,
Oh no.
I'm gonna put your info in the show notes
Oh,
with a link to your Instagram. So if people want to hear more, they can
perfect.
go to your Instagram. Yeah. And then, yes. So just check out her Instagram. It's going to be the first comment in the show notes. And then you can reach out to her and learn about her one-on-one. I'm so sorry. Thank you
Oh
so
no.
much for being here. This was amazing.
Thank you so much. I don't know if you can hear me right now, but this
Yeah,
was
you're back.
okay, good. This was so good and incredible. I absolutely loved all of this so much. Great connecting with you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. And you guys, if you love this episode, it would mean the world to me if you would write a review and subscribe. That just helps me get the word out for my podcast. So thank you all so much for being here. And thank you, Callie. This has been so much fun. I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much. You too, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye.